Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and the crazy life that is cryptocurrency. Good morning, guys. I hope your day thus far has been awesome. I hope you have an even better rest of the day. Wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about the greatest digital asset ever created, and that is Xrp. And I was watching a video from SPQR Media yesterday for the last 3 days, and finally finished it up today. And I just thought, you know, they mentioned in there a couple of times about that this XRP can't fail. Like XRP, the idea, the project cannot fail. And I love that comment. Like, it's not, what I think is, it's not allowed to fail. It is not allowed to fail. And the reason why I say this is because not only does the IMF, the World Bank, central banks know what it's going to do. There are angel investors, there are major venture capitalist companies who have invested in the company Ripple, knowing what their products and its greatest asset are going to do. And with that, they know what's going to happen. So it's, you know, here's the thing that I think. Ripple, the company, will never lack capital or networks of investors. It will never ever lack the money it needs to do what it wants to do, and the connections and our networks that it needs to go where it wants to go. Ever. You know, when I discovered a couple 3 days ago that CME Group, and I didn't know this, that CME Group was one of the initial investors into the company Ripple, I was blown away by that. We're talking the Chicago Mercantile. We're talking about one of the most powerful and influential entities in the world, in the financial market space, and their initial investor in Ripple. Then to find out that they were an investor in CME Group as well. I mean, CME Group. CME Group was an investor in one of the initial investors into the digital currency group. And then I hear about connections to Greylock, and we all know about Grayscale, right? That's one of companies from digital currency group as well. When you think about that, think about the idea that a company, a tech company, will never lack the capital that it needs and or the network of people or entities that it needs for its project to move forward. Current projects, future projects. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Will never ever lack the capital or the network that it needs to succeed. Ever. That's a massive combination, because a lot of companies, tech companies, they may have, you know, a unique ability to raise capital, but having that network behind you is so rare, and the fact that Ripple has it is absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. So XRP is not allowed to fail, because there are too many people that have a vested interest in seeing it succeed. So it's like, what do you need? Okay, what do you need? Okay, money, that's easy. What else do you need? Well, I'd really like to be able to get a meeting with this person, or a good word with that person, or, you know, a connect with this person. It will always be able to do that. Always. We all know that Ripple, the company, is a software company, but their greatest asset is not that software. They've already created the greatest asset that it has, and that is XRP. Now, in the future, perhaps will something come from X Springs? Perhaps. Perhaps. But currently, it is XRP, the digital asset, and what it can do, and the fact that it will be the liquidity provider for the global economic crisis that is in place, and it is about to be exposed to the masses. So you think about that. And so here's the thing that I would say for you as an XRP holder, XRP bag holder, when in the history of your lifetime, now, look, there could be a truck driver, and I love truck drivers. Listen to this. There could be a plumber. Listen to this video as an XRP bag holder. There could be a bank teller. A bank teller listening to this, who is an XRP bag holder, who is connected through the digital asset space to Ripple, the company, and its networks. When you think about that, when have the average Joe or Jane been able to invest in a tech company? A lot of people are saying, well, you're not invested in a company, Ripple. Of course we are. Of course we are. We may not have any stock or anything on paper or some paper stock, but we're still invested in the company. We're still invested, right? We need each other. They need us, and we need them. The greatest thing that happened to XRP, in my humble opinion, is the average Joe and Jane getting involved, promoting this digital asset, content creators. That's the greatest thing that could have happened to XRP, in my opinion, the greatest thing. And so, but when in the history, and here's the crazy thing, you know, here's the crazy thing, is who knows when Ripple, the company, I don't know if they'll ever need another seed investment thing, but what if one of their companies that breaks off from X Spring or whatever needs some capital, and because you're an XRP bag holder, you have some. You have some. And you already know that if this project is involved around XRP, probably a good investment. Right? I heard something earlier this morning that, you know, people like Digital Currency Group, CME Group, they're not investing to lose money. You know, these guys are in it to win. When I hear about Glenn Hutchins and this guy Larry Summers, I think is his name, when I hear about these people and the influence and the network and the things that they've done and the connections, and the influence is massive. And they're all, you know, like we're all going to make money together. We're all going to make money together. I always tell my business partners, never ever forget the main objective for why we're here, right? And that is to build a network of people that know, like, and trust you, and you make money together. That is the ultimate reason. The ultimate reason. And that's what's going on at Ripple. They're building a network of people that know, like, and trust them, and they make money together. And we're blessed to be a part of that, even if it's a small part of that. Even if it's a small part of it. I think about the fact that CKJ Crypto News, because of his involvement in the XRP community as a content creator, was able to make a connection with Barry Sober. And if you guys don't know who Barry Sober is from the Digital Currency Group, check him out, right? He's a major player in the blockchain space. Because of that, and because of CKJ's connection to the XRP community and being a content creator, he was able to make that connection. he can put this Barry Silbert guy on his network. And I get it. He still might be 20 phone calls away from another connection with Barry. I get that. Right? He may, you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, Barry Silbert has them on speed dial. I get that. But he made a connection. Because of the digital asset space and because of CKJ's involvement in the XRP community. And that is the bottom line to it all. Don't just take advantage of this digital asset space. I get it. And ultimately, he got it. Knocked it out. Truck. Bummer. Ultimately, come on, dude. Ultimately, you know, that's what I believe. One of the ultimate reasons why we're here is to build a network of people who know, like, and trust us, and we make money together. That's what I'm doing. So XRP, it's not designed, it's not allowed to fail. And that's a great thing to know. Like, that's what I did a video not too long ago. I said, if you are not a fan, if you are not an XRP bag holder, it is because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, think about that. We're talking about something. We're talking about this massive asset, and it's an asset that is less than $1. It's less than $1. And we, the truck driver, the bank teller, the plumber, have an opportunity to get some. Have an opportunity to let our fiat dollars go to work for us. I mean, and then when you do your homework, like I challenge people to just do your homework, to just begin to look into this. You know, and when I think about it, I was telling my girlfriend this the other day, like, I remember I was buying Ethereum, it was $200 or $300. I was buying Ethereum, buying Bitcoin when it was in the thousands of dollars. Like, why would I not continue to get XRP at $1 and at $5 and probably even at $10? Like, why would I not? And so that's where we are, guys. I just think that's what it is. It's not allowed to fail. And when you think about that, it makes you sit down and just take a pause and just realize, wow. Like, wow. Someone asked me on my video, commented on my video the other day about how much they should own. They said, well, you keep saying fill your bags, and are your bags full, but what does that mean? Well, when it comes to XRP, you know, and I comment and I reply back, because I try to reply back to all my comments. Like, you have to understand for you the value of XRP to determine whether or not your bags are full with it or not. And I recommended he check out a video from the Modern Investor. And the Modern Investor did a video on how much XRP you should own. You know, he's a brilliant marketer. The Modern Investor is. And he said, you know, in his humble opinion, you got to have at least 1,000 XRP, at least 1,000. And then he goes on to say that 10,000 is a very, 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 very good number. So, you know, that's not me saying it. That was the Modern Investor saying that. And, you know, those are good numbers. I think what I did is I looked at a number ultimately that I would like to see in my bank account and my bank accounts, right? And I said, okay, what price do I need XRP to get to for me to have that number? And do I believe it can get there. In other words, do I see the value in it for it to get to that price? And that's, each and every one of us has to do our own homework and make those assessments for ourselves. And so what I've been doing is I've been changing the amount in the bank account, because I keep finding more and more value in XRP, the greatest digital asset ever created. And with me finding more value, I'm more confident in my investing. And that's where you have to be. And that's where this guy who asked that question in the comments, that's where he has to be. That's where he has to get. You got to get to that point. And, you know, I did a video also, I think I titled that video, you know, imagine the possibilities, and then totally get upstairs in your brain and your mind that yesterday's dreams are, in fact, today's realities. Yesterday's dreams are, in fact, today's realities. So what are you dreaming about today? So that one day in the future, that will be a yesterday. And then one day in the future, that will be your reality. I mean, you get that? So, again, you know, maybe you want to start with, what would you like to see in your bank account? What possibility are you imagining? What possibility are you imagining? You know, I saw something. Gosh, I forget about where it was or what I saw it, but it said something about 9 figures, and it was some guy who did something, and it was a blockchain company, blockchain startup, got bought out by another company. And the company that bought this company out, the company hadn't even been around for that long, 5-7 years maybe. The company that bought it out, they paid 9 figures for that company. I've never heard of the company. Ever. Never, ever. It was just no-name company. They paid $100 million or more for this company. Think about that. Blockchain space is new. And some guy or guys or gals put something together because they just imagined the possibility. And someone came in and did their homework and made an assessment of how valuable that company and this project is. You see what I'm saying? Why not you? Why not you? You have the same opportunity to make an assessment, do some homework, and figure out for yourself the value in the greatest digital asset ever created. And then you have an opportunity, based upon your own homework and your own decisions, to make your money work for you, to put your money to work, to put your fiat dollars to work. You know, here's what I tell my family. Like, you can go to the ball game, you can go watch football, you can go to the casino, or you can make your money work for you in a digital asset space. It's up to you. Like, I'm done. I've told you what's up. I told you what's up. Now you can party, or you can put your money to work for you. You can imagine the possibilities or not. And that is the biggest challenge that the society as a whole has. Imagine the possibilities, believing that it's possible for you. Believing that it's possible for you. Right? In the end, my mentor said, CJ, know your why. Know why you're doing this. Give yourself time. And believe that it's possible for you. You put those 3 things together, You got an awesome shot. Know what you want. Give yourself time, especially in the digital asset space. Give yourself time. And then believe that it's possible for you. You know what I mean? Put those things together. Figure out the value in the greatest digital asset ever created for yourself. You got to figure it out for yourself. So that means checking out YouTube channel videos, and then get some information and do your homework for yourself. Right? You type something into Google and read up on it on yourself. Go down some deep dives if you need to, but figure out for yourself. Like for me, again, 2 or 3 days ago, I heard about the CME Group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, being one of the initial investors into Ripple. And I thought, and by the way, Siam Commercial Bank, a lot of people are sleeping on that whole deal. And Siam Commercial Bank, initial investor in the company Ripple. Like, come on, don't go, right? Think about that. CME Group, an initial, you gotta sit back and say, like, why? Like, why would they do that? Why would they invest in the company Ripple? You just gotta, you have to think. And then you go to a company Ripple they invested in. Hey, what is Ripple about? Let me do my homework. Who is this Chris Larson dude? Right? Who is Arthur Britto? What's up with Jeb McCaleb? And who in the world is Joel Katz and David Schwartz, right? Homework. Do your homework. Because again, in my humble opinion, if you're not an XRP bag holder, it is simply because you don't know what you don't know. And my mentor taught me something years ago, and I believe it with every fiber in my being. And you see what he said to me. He said, CJ, 95%. This is when I was, making about $700 a month. This is what he said to me. He said, CJ, 95% of what you know comes from people in the 95% income bracket. Think about that. 95% of what you know comes from people in the 95% income bracket. So here's the thing. What are your chances of remaining in the 95% income bracket if you don't change the place from where you're getting your information? If you don't begin to get your information from the people in the 5% income bracket, what are the chances that you will remain in the 95% income bracket? Here's the answer. 95%. 95%. That's why that phrase is thrown around all the time, and it says, follow the money. Don't listen to what they're saying. Watch what they're doing. Follow the money, right? Why do they tell you to follow the money? Because they're in the 5% income bracket. They're in the 1% of the 1% income bracket. Because you don't know what you don't know. And since that is in fact the case, where are you going to get your info? And so you got to think, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME Group, right? Those dudes are not in the 95% income bracket. You got to think, why is smart money investing in Ripple? Why is the digital currency group and Barry Silbert investing in Ripple? That's smart money right there. You got to find out why it is that they're doing that. You have to change where you're getting your information. Right? You got to change where you're getting your information. Because you don't know what you don't know. In the end, that's what it is. And so, XRP guys, listen, it's not allowed to fail. When you find out about the network behind it, when you really find out the network behind it, Ripple and XRP, it's unbelievable. And then here's the thing, guys. Brad Garlinghouse is not hanging around Christine Lagarde, the IMF, chairman of the IMF, head of the IMF, for no reason. Right? I think the IMF is works for the central banks, something like that, right? You got to think, you got to get that. You got it right. So again, I said this in another video. A lot of brilliant people in the blockchain space, a lot of smarter people than Brad Garlinghouse in the blockchain space. A lot of smarter people than Brad Garlinghouse. Why? You know, a lot of people say Dan Larimer is a pretty smart dude from EOS. A lot of people say Charles Hoskinson is a smart dude and a good dude from Cardano in the blockchain space. Why wasn't he hanging out with Christine Lagarde? Why wasn't Dan Larimer hanging out with Christine Lagarde? Why wasn't Vitalik Buterin? Like, can anyone argue that that dude's not a genius? Why wasn't he hanging out with Christine Lagarde? Right? You have to ask yourself those questions. It doesn't take away from their projects, but smart money understands why. Smart money understands why. Right? Smart money goes with the project that has been determined to be the one. That's why I love my boy Carl Wagner says that Bitcoin is the great distraction. I love that. It is 100%. Because the masses, and you got to get this, the masses in regards to Bitcoin are not going to change the lifestyle of their families generationally with Bitcoin. Not the masses. Maybe a few, but not the masses. Why? Because it's thousands of dollars. But here's this digital asset space, just sitting up there at the top, just hanging out, and mainstream media, MSM, mainstream media, hardly ever mentions XRP. They're always bombarding the masses with Bitcoin. They bombard the masses with Bitcoin so much that the masses believe that the digital asset space is Bitcoin. You ever heard just assets? Oh, you mean like Bitcoin? Right? They don't know that there's 2,000 other digital asset spaces. They don't know. Why? Because mainstream media is owned, operated, and controlled by old money. Bitcoin is, in point of fact, the great distraction. XRP is sitting there less than $1. Guys, do your own homework, do your own due diligence. Those of you who own XRP, proud of you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you because I know what's going to happen for you generationally. I know you can change your lifestyle. I always like to say level up your lifestyle. You know, I got in business for myself because I wanted to change the legacy of my family financially. You have the opportunity to do the same thing. It's opportunity, the same thing. We're blessed, guys. We're blessed. But anyway, guys, again, XRP is not allowed to fail. So never ever forget this, guys. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather we could remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same sandbox that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. They don't want that to happen for us. But they have no choice, because we are, in point of fact, in the greatest transfer of history. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. The greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man, and we are right in it. This is our time, guys. This is our times. Here's my question. Are you participating in the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man? Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.